Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at two really cool figures, and that's the Jax UFC Pride from Total Elimination 2004. We've got Antonio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira and Kevin the Monster Randleman. Two of my favourite fighters of all time, both UFC heavyweight champions. Nogueira, of course, the Pride heavyweight champion, along with Fedor Emelianenko. Was really excited to get my hands on these figures. I have had them for quite a while. Finally decided to get them opened up and out of packaging. Speaking of packaging, I love what they've done with it. Comes in the standard octagon style UFC packaging, but with a reskin or repaint, I should say. I love the retro Pride logo. As big of a UFC fan as I am, there is something about Pride, and if you watch my channel, you know I recently went to Rizin in Japan, or Rizin, and that was just amazing. Such a great event. There's just something about the showmanship of it and the spectacle of it, and the fights that they put on. You know, are they the same as UFC, where it's the best fighters in the world? Well, in Pride, a lot of times, yes, it was. You had a lot of, I guess, top competition who were in the UFC, then going to Pride and competing there, and you had a lot of young, upcoming Pride guys as well. But, you know, it still is more of a show than, say, the UFC, where you know you're watching the best fighters in the world. Total Elimination 2004, really kind of the peak of Pride. Kevin Randleman, of course, I think he took on, I could be very wrong, but Fedor, and slammed him on his head, which I think is what they've tried to recreate at the bottom of the box there. You can see him slamming someone. And then Minotauro Nogueira as well. My favourite Minotauro fight is probably the one against Bob Sapp, where it's just great. He gets absolutely pounded by Bob Sapp and then pulls off the sneaky submission to get the win and defend the title. But two really cool figures. I love the Pride ring in the back of the packaging. Love all the Japanese writing and everything. Taking a look on the side, you can see obviously Kevin Randleman and Rodrigo Nogueira on the side there. The back of the packaging is pretty much just the two fighters. Other figures in the set. Randleman's from Series 1, so you've got Liddell, Anderson Silva, Bisping, Forrest Griffin, Mike Swig, Czech Congo, and Evan Tander. So actually a solid lineup of figures there. And in Season 7, equally as good, Anderson Silva makes another appearance, Forrest Griffin, Andrei Arlovsky, Diego Sanchez, and BJ Penn. So really good lineups. I wish they still made the Jax UFC figures. They were some of my favourites. They had great articulation and great detail. For whatever reason, it wasn't viable enough. Interesting in terms of height, Minotauro Nogueira's quite a bit taller than Kevin Randleman. I wasn't expecting that. And also in terms of weight, Nogueira weighs significantly more, 109 kilos compared to 93. I would have thought the other way around, just how much of a beast Kevin Randleman is. But with that, let's get both these figures opened up. Okay, and here we have both figures opened up and out of packaging, and they are really cool. Two of my favourite UFC figures. Now, one thing I think is interesting is Kevin Randleman wearing the shoes, and I never really understood that, although having been to Rizin and seeing King Mo wear the shoes, and after talking to some people then finding out, that's for the grip on the ring. Apparently, a boxing ring or the Pride Rizin ring doesn't have as much grip as like the UFC one, which is why they allow them to wear shoes. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. It helps with the grip. Certainly a powerhouse wrestler. I believe he was with Mark Coleman when he started fighting, won the UFC championship, and then lost it to Bus Rutten in a semi-controversial decision, I would say. But both really cool figures. We'll start by taking a look at the legend Minotauro Nogueira. My favourite submission artist, certainly one of the best of all time. I think you'd put Frank Mir in another level above Minotauro Nogueira, just on the basis of breaking his arm and submitting him a couple times. But still, the Nogueira that we got in UFC wasn't really in his prime. The one we got in Pride was fantastic. Now, I think they nailed the face scan on this guy. There's another UFC Minotauro Nogueira, and I think they messed that one up pretty bad. The face on that doesn't look anything like him at all. The face on this, 100%, I think they nailed it. It definitely looks like Minotauro. As you can see, Brazilian top team. Yeah, a really cool looking figure. And now we've got Kevin the Monster Randleman. I actually prefer this figure a little bit more, maybe just because he's got a little bit of extra stuff on him. I think they nailed the face scan again. Love the blonde hair going on. Reminds me a little bit of Sheldon Benjamin, anyone that watches WWE. Also some nice details on the tattoos as well. Trying to read what that says. But still looks quite cool. Taking a look obviously on the sponsors and everything. And then on the back, ESPN. That's a friggin' great sponsor to have. And he's got the eyes. I never really got the purpose behind that or what the meaning behind it was, but I guess it makes for a cool design on a figure. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is for Kevin Randleman. Articulation for both figures. Ball jointed head, ball jointed arms, the standard UFC shoulder joint. Swivel in the bicep, bend at the elbow, swivel in the wrist. Ab crunch, swivel in the waist, ball jointed legs, swivel in the thigh, double bend at the knee, and then ball jointed ankles. So an absolute ton of articulation so you can set up some great poses and positions. The other accessory that we get with this set is, of course, the Pride Heavyweight Championship. Cool looking belt. I'm interested that it's silver and not gold. I think gold looks a lot nicer, but still the actual design of the belt is something that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of both these figures and both these fighters. If you get a chance and you can pick them up, they're actually pretty cheap at the moment. I think it's well worth it, especially for any MMA UFC fan. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review on From Pride Total Elimination 2004, the Jax UFC Pride, Kevin Randleman and Antonio Minotauro Rodrigo Nogueira.